Hey guys, this is Jimmy. I want to just give an introduction to this segment you're going to see, because this is not the way I usually do things, but this is kind of an unusual situation happened. I want to just give you an understanding about what's about to happen. When we were at Woody Gap doing trail magic and also interviewing hikers, as I was finishing up my interviews, I was getting ready to pick up the trail magic, and a girl came running down with a dog. And I really thought that she was maybe a day hiker, or maybe just somebody that had just gotten out of her car and heard about trail magic, because she looked so fresh. She didn't look like she'd been hiking to me, but I opened the truck and allowed her to get trail magic and even gave her a chair. And she sat down and began to talk to me, and wow, I found out that she was a Southbounder just about ready to finish her hike. She didn't say it on the video that you're about to see, but it was 1:30 in the evening, and she was going to hike 21 more miles that day to Springer parking lot, sleep there, and meet her mother and her sister, I think, the next morning to go to the Platte and finish her Southbound hike. She impressed me so much that I wanted to at least put her interview up, but I didn't get to talk to her long enough because I just didn't know how much time she had to spare. But after she left, I ended up calling her at home after she had summited and asked her if she would let me interview her over the phone. And I've added a sound track, or whatever you want to call it, embedded the information that I recorded her on my cell phone and then tried to put it in this video. So after you see her on the interview, you'll hear about 5 minutes or 6 minutes of her talking. I hope you listen to all of that and don't turn off when it gets to no picture on the video, but you'll be able to hear her. I hope you'll be able to hear her, and I'll check it before I upload it and put it on YouTube. But I just thought you might be interested to see this Southbound and hear her story. So I hope it all turns out well, and I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, I smell it.
Oh, we've got something very special here. I'm at Woody Gap, as you know. I've been interviewing hikers 2018, and I have one that just walked up, but she's got an entirely different story, and I'm going to let her tell you about it. Tell me who you are, and where did you start, and what's going on with your life.
So I'm White Walker. I started up in Katahdin October 1st, and I've done a straight through Sobo winter hike. I'm actually hiking with my dog, Riley.
Riley's over eating.
She's having lunch right now.
And I just asked you, and I'll just interrupt a couple times. I just asked you about your dog, and your mother came and took care of him while you went through the Smokies.
She did, yes.
And is that the only time y'all been apart? You wasn't able to take him to Katahdin?
Baxter. Yeah, I did Baxter over the course of 2 days, and so she just hung out at the hotel with my mom.
Yeah.
And then we've been together ever since then, except for the Smokies, yeah.
Did you start with anyone?
Nope,
yeah.
I wanted to do it alone in the winter. I wanted the most challenging hike I could come up with, and I wanted to do it alone.
Okay, how much weight are you carrying?
So I resupply for about 8 to 10 days, so max weight I pack gets around 50 pounds with winter gear.
Wow.
But right now it's probably only like 20, 25.
Yeah, but you were toting 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Because of the dog food too?
She'll carry 5 days of food on her, and then I'll carry an additional 5 to 7 of hers, just to have it a couple extra days.
How long had you thought about doing this?
A couple years, year and a half.
And now that you're about through, and first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me what's going through your mind when you're this close to being through.
I mean, doing a winter hike for the past about like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, I've just been so ready to finish. But now, like, I mean, ever since I got into Georgia, the weather has been nice. Like, it's been misty and foggy, but it's warm, and I'm ready for it to finish, but I'm not ready. Like, I've been really enjoying the last few days. There's been too many people on the trail, in my opinion. I've been so used to having it all to myself. So I'm ready to get out of the cluster of people.
Yeah, you're really getting ready to see them now.
I know. Yeah. I've seen about 30 today already. Yeah, it's just 30 too many.
That's going to be every day tomorrow too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're finishing at the right time before they had a kickoff on March the 1st.
Yep.
And it's going to be real crazy. Now tell me again your trail name, and I'm going to ask you to spell it, because and I'll tell you why later.
Okay, it's White Walker, WHITEWALKER.
Okay, I want to make sure, because I put it underneath your picture and all, and make sure I don't spell it wrong.
Okay.
Even though I can spell some small words. Well, man, I'm so excited to meet you. I'm just tickled to death that you walked up and spoke to me. And I've got a million questions I'll ask you off camera probably, but do you have anybody you want to say hello to that might jump in there and look at this on YouTube?
Yes, my mom, thank you for doing all of my packages and being on top of everything. And my fiance, I miss you more than you'll ever realize.
And he is deployed to?
He's deployed.
To get, where is he deployed?
He's in the Middle East right now.
Middle East, okay. Brothers and sisters?
Yeah, my brother, he's in Clemson right now. He's actually planning on doing the AT at some point. So hopefully he comes to me for some advice. I'd be happy
well,
to
yeah. And look, he's going to have to do it in less days than you.
Yeah, I know. It's a competition. So.
And you're doing it pretty quick.
Yes.
How many days is it? Do you know?
We'll be done in 3 months and 17 days.
So that's close to 100.
Sure.
107.
Yeah, very close to 100.
Wow. What was your biggest day? Do you remember the biggest mileage day?
I did 30 through the Smokies.
30s through the Smokies going northbound.
In the winter, and there was 6 inches to 3 feet of snow up there.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
These legs have taken me a long way.
All of your planning, if someone come to you that was a friend and said, I'm going to do a southbound hike that's going to try to mimic what you've done, what would you, if you only had one piece of advice, what would you say?
Make sure you're mentally prepared. Like, it's all mental. That's all it is. Your body can do so many things as long as you can mentally overcome everything. But that's the biggest challenge, is mentally getting through this. Not even doing it in the winter, just hiking the AT, it's all mental.
It's a life-changing experience, as you well know.
It is.
And going forward. But again, congrats. I'm just tickled to death to be here.
Thank you.
As you can tell. I'm going to get off camera and talk to you some more, but God bless every step. You don't have very many steps left, but again, thank you for stopping.
Thank you.
Okay, I've got White Walker on the phone, and since I didn't get her interview just good on the camera, I'm trying to do something I've never done before. White Walker, tell us how you got your trail name.
It's really just like a simple story. I started in Maine, October 1st, and I was week behind the next Sobo through hiker, and so I was just constantly running into lots of nobos. I'm talking like 20 to 30 a day, because they were all pushing to get to Katahdin. And I was hiking one day, it was probably like my second or third day on the trail, and I kept running into lots of nobos, and there was one guy, his name was the Kilted Man, and he was wearing a kilt, obviously, and we stopped to talk for a few minutes. He was asking if I was out for a through hike, which I was, and he was like, oh wow, you're going to see a lot of snow, you'll probably be doing a lot of white walking, and we kind of looked at each other, like, oh, that's a really good trail name, and so he was like, you should go by White Walker. And ever since, like, that's been my name. Because I never run into another hiker again after that group of snowbos, so went with the first name I got.
Well, that's interesting. Now, I've just talked to you just a second before we started recording. I wanted you to tell us the story that you told me about the Northbounders. And first of all, do you remember where that was?
It was right before I met you at Neil's Gap, I believe.
Okay, so I met you at Woody Gap after Neil's Gap. Was it coming up Blood Mountain and you coming down, or was it before you got to Neil's Gap?
It was further south of Blood Mountain. It was.
So it was between Neil's Gap and where you met me?
Yes, it was the mountain before I got to Woody Gap. There's like a...
Yeah, well, that was Blood Mountain, and then you had Preaching Rock and all as you come down.
I don't think it was like a named mountain.
Okay, but it was between Neil's Gap and Woody Gap, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to find. Now, go ahead and tell that story.
So, like, the last 2 days on the trail, I was in, like, middle to southern Georgia, which is where all the nobos start, and they all pretty much get off at Neil's Gap if they're going to quit. So I was seeing a whole lot of nobos at this point. The last day, I was hitting like 30 to 40 nobos. It was insane. And like having hiked from Maine, you kind of get a sense of trail etiquette. Like when I started, you get out of the way of through hikers because they've walked a lot further than you have, and it's just the kind thing to do, and it's just common sense, in my opinion. So I was 20, 30 miles out from finishing my through hike. And everyone I was running into that day, no one knew that I was through hiking. They all just assumed I was doing a weekend or like a day hike. Through hiking at that point in time just never registered for anyone because of how late in the season it was. And there was a group of probably 6 or 7 hikers coming up this like hill / mountain right before Woody Gap. And they're coming up an incline. I was about to go down from the summit, and I was with the dog, so I should have moved over anyways, but they just kind of looked at me, expecting me to move over, didn't really say anything, just kind of glared, and just waited until I moved over. So I just kind of like rolled my eyes, stepped aside, was like, hey guys, how's it going? And they were like, good, like in that beginning through hiker high that they have. They're like, yeah, it's been going great with through hiking. And I was like, that's cool. And then I let all 6 to 7 of them pass. And after they passed, I was like, well, good luck getting to Maine. Like, I just came from there. Wish you all the best. And I just kept walking. I never looked back. I'm sure they just had, like, rock jaws on their face. Like, this woman's crazy. And just kept walking, knowing that of those 6 to 7, maybe 1 or 2 of them was going to make it. And I just had that satisfaction knowing that I was done, they were starting, and these rude people were not going to make it. It could happen.
Yeah, that's a very interesting story. Tell me what you're feeling now that you're home and it's done and you've been done about 4 or 5 days.
It's like relief mixed with sadness. I'm actually up by Roan Mountain. My family has a cabin up here, so I'm just hanging out in the mountains, kind of detoxing my body from the trail and all the honey buns I devoured. But I'm just like not ready to leave the Blue Ridge or the Appalachian Trail. I'm only like 5 miles away from it, so I'm not hiking. I'm just hanging out, doing some yoga, stretching, getting my body relaxed and recovering from the trail itself. But I do miss it. I miss the ever constant changing of the landscape. I miss light walking. I don't miss doing 30 miles a day. I don't think that's something I'll ever miss. I miss like the bond that Riley and I had, just kind of wandering through the woods together, seeing all these different places. It's definitely an adjustment. I'm glad to not be walking at the moment and to be able to eat well, actually get some sleep and relax. But getting back into civilization is definitely the hardest part. I'm not doing well in crowds yet.
Yeah, and I understand because we've had several come to our house after they finished their hike to kind of decompress and kind of get back in the real world because it's difficult for some.
It is hard. I mean, I've never been good in crowds to begin with. And the first day I got back, we went to dinner, just me and my dad and my mom. And it was a really busy restaurant, and I just sat there in awe. Like, I just couldn't fathom, like, the number of people, the number of noises I was hearing. I'm just so used to being quiet and it just being Riley and I. And she doesn't talk, she's a dog, so it's just me and it's just nature. So it's been really strange, like, adjusting to all the noises of all the people around.
Yeah, I wish I'd have got all this on camera. I hope it's coming out on this voice recorder so we can get it. If not, we're going back out next week. I may call you. Maybe we'll be close enough we can get another video. I do have one other question. When you were coming down, when my wife through hiked in 2014, they always talked about being able to smell the other hikers. Tell me if you had that experience.
Many, many times. And it wasn't just in Georgia. It would be any day hiker or section hiker that was just getting on the trail. I could smell them a good like 50 to 100 yards ahead of me. You could smell the like detergent on them, any soap that they were using. You could smell something very clean and very refreshed coming down the trail. And I would always like be walking and I'd stop and like smell it and I'd be like, well, I'm going to run into a hiker pretty soon. And then like a minute or so later, there'd be a hiker on the trail. And it was just really funny to me that way because I never knew if there was a through hiker coming. Because we're pretty stealthy. You get pretty stealthy on the trail. You learn to walk quietly, and you don't smell each other because you all have a nasty stench to yourself. And you're so accustomed to it, you don't notice it, but you do notice the really cleanly smells that aren't a natural scent.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad you shared that with us. I'm going to probably go ahead and cut the recorder off, and you and I are going to talk back on the phone. But again, thank you for what you've done, giving me the time to talk to you. And again, congratulations on your